Hi there, I'm Gary. Welcome to my channel. Welcome back if you've been here before. Now today is part 2 of my build of the Airfix 1/24 scale Spitfire Mark 9. Now in the last episode, the first show, you'd have seen I made the cockpit. Today I'm doing the fuselage. Now because my lovely viewers decided that they wanted this to be finished in PRU pink, which is one of the options I gave them in a poll, then I've had to convert it to an FR9, Fighter Reconnaissance Mark 9. I've done that by adding a frame, building a camera, putting the camera in a mount, adding a camera controller, and all of that before putting the fuselage together and adding the tail. So that's what today's video is all about. Now, if you enjoy the video, please remember, thumbs up on the button below, the like button below there. If you haven't done so yet, please remember to subscribe to the channel, hit the bell, and you'll be notified of future videos as they come out. Now, if you'd like to support the channel in a more concrete way, you can do that through any of my partner programs. One I'd like to mention in particular, if you're thinking about buying one of these kits, if you go through the link below to the Airfix online store, at no extra cost to you, I hasten to add, you'll still get the same kits, but Airfix will make a small donation to the future productions on this channel. So it's something to think about. It's a win-win for everyone. Anyway, enough of all of that. Let's get on and convert our Mark 9 to an FR Mark 9 Spitfire in 1/24 scale from Airfix.
Right, so what we're doing today is I've got the basic cockpit sorted out. That kind of sits sort of up here, roughly, yeah, right, sort of around there. Now what I've got to do is make another frame to go in here to support the camera that's going to sit here, and also take out this and put a window in. Window, don't know if it's going to be open or closed yet. Depends how well the project goes making the camera. So we're going to cut this bit of frame out here, replace it with a new frame I'm going to scratch build, put some support bars over, and build a cradle for the camera, and of course build the camera. So that's what we're up to today. Now to do the frame here, use one of these tools here. These are the sort of things you get for if you're cutting tiles or floorboards or whatever, to go around bits of mouldings, you know, like the edges of, I don't know, door frames or whatever, they've got some sort of decorative moulding around them. You want to cut around them. Use this as a template. So the idea is you just sort of push it onto the thing you want to get the shape of, and all these needles sort of fit the shape that you want. So you just draw around that and cut it out of plastic. I did that earlier, just got the shape, was roughly cut out of plastic, and it kind of roughly fits. Now what I've got to do is chop down these bits here of the actual frame that exists, but I'll leave the stringers here, and then I can notch stringers into the edge here, get the round sorted on both sides, and then cut a suitable bit out of here as well. I don't have to do the whole round, because you know most of this is going to be hidden, maybe down to sort of that sort of area there. So, you know, don't really need to go down much more than that. In fact, what I can do is use this bit here as my base. So just cut these bits down to there, cut that so it sort of sits on the top of that, or on both sides. So that's part one of what I'm doing today. Part two is I've got some bits of plastic art I just sort of cut to size and glued together. Those are going to be the body of the camera. The lens is going to be hopefully this 1/72 Matra rocket pod. I can chop down because that's got a nice sort of curve at the back end, so that can cut down, maybe sort of do another ring of something bigger around there. Also that's got like a step in there that can be painted black, bit of acetate over the end. That will look like quite a convincing lens, I hope. So that's what I've got to do today. I'll crack on. Well, here's my attempt at an f/24 camera. So what I've done is I've put a load of plastic cards together here to make the magazine. Another load of plastic cards stuck together here to make the body of the camera. Cut out another sheet at the top with these knobbly bits for the top. Then there's another sheet here. There's a couple of holes here I've drilled in, which is where the cabling is going to go. There's also one on the front around there. This is the end of the Matra rocket pack, and then just another cutout of plastic here. So that's all it is, really. It's just a whole load of sheets of plastic card and bits and pieces. There's a few little sort of knobs and that cut off from a bit of, you know, like a bit of round stock as well, I guess you call that, to make some switches. On the manual one, that's where the film winder lever goes. There it is. So we'll let all that dry, then we'll give it a coat of primer, and then I'll give it some sort of RF blue-grey. What I'll then do is I'll coat the middle of this black and then put a bit of acetate over the top, and that will be my camera done. It's not that accurate, but you know what? It looks alright. It looks okay. Also, for the cockpit, I've made this little selector box. It doesn't have the, whatever it is, type 35 or whatever it is, camera controller, because that's for the mapping cameras in the PR versions that have got the two vertical cameras, and that organises the overlap and stuff like that for stereo vision and whatever. This is just a very simple controller. I'll paint this black, not paint the knobs black as well, put on some sort of something or other there. Just essentially an on-off and a fuse box, but that goes inside the cockpit. We need that. There's a few pieces sit in the port cockpit side here. These you can paint all these ahead of time, and they will just sit in nicely. This rack of light bulbs, spare light bulbs, comes on the transparent sprue. So what I've done with them is just painted the caps and the mount in black, and then I've put some metallic over the caps just to sort of shine out a bit. There you go, like that. So you go, those that sit like that. And then apparently we can put the cockpit into the side of the fuselage. What fun. One thing before I go on, one of my wonderful viewers spotted the fact that the flap selector here was in the up position, and that's the default position on this control panel, is the up position, which is fine, except of course you have the option of having the flaps set down. So what I've done is I've just milled that off and then put just a little piece of foil, thick foil here to represent the flap selector in the down position. Okay, up and down. Right, so what needs to happen now is that the cockpit section needs to sit into the fuselage. Now I've noticed that this one side of the fuselage here is quite bent, so it's quite difficult to have this in place and this end all in place at the same time. So what I'm going to do is I'll get this end sorted out and leave that so it's sort of set solid, and then afterwards I'll attempt to tack this end on properly. And while I'm waiting for that to dry, I'm going to make the radio box. This is going to have to be set slightly differently to the instructions, because we have got the camera where the radio normally goes in the Spitfire. So the camera has to go on a frame one ahead of where it should otherwise be. There you go, all goes together very well. Simple as that. Repaints it black, job's done. I don't know if you can see, if you can't see it, then there's probably not much point in me having done it, but I've put in that just down here, the camera control switches. Yeah, you should be able to see that. There you go. That's a bit better. Yes, you can see the camera control box that I built earlier. It's gone in there. That's about where it goes on the Spitfire. So that's good. I've got the undercarriage, the flap selected down, and I can get on with the rest of it. Right, so because this is a Fuselage machine, I'm actually going to have the side window open so you can see in properly. I've cut the side window out, and I've put in this piece here. This is just a little piece of sort of flat stock that I've just cut around here, drilled 3 holes, and that's like the fastener plate for the hatch. When the hatch closes, it gets put onto fasteners. Just a kind of little detail that I thought might be quite fun. Right, there's this long pipe comes out of here, has to be fed through between the seat back armour plate and the wall. There's a couple of points it catches up to, and it comes through here. So what I've done is I've painted that black and just then dry brushed it with a load of white just to make it stand out. Of course, it's going to be excuse me, it's going to be in the cockpit, and the cockpit's going to be like largely closed up and everything, so we might not see it very well, so I just gave it a load of white. Oh, that's alright, I don't mind. That's quite sort of, yeah, it's alright. And there's another piece that goes in here which I'll fit next. I don't even know what that is, but it's gone in underneath the light bulbs, underneath these spare light bulbs. It goes down into there. Yep, there's a piece that goes on here, like so. Right, so a quick catch up of what we've done. We built the camera and put some wires into it, painted them up, put the camera up, I haven't built a proper cradle for it. I'll maybe put something over the top as well. But just a piece of plastic here just to support the camera in roughly the right place, a bit of acetate over the end. For the lens, the radio's gone in here, in front of the camera. The cables come down here and go up to the front. So the idea is when it's all ready, you can put the 2 halves together, and you see the camera pokes out like that. I think that looks actually pretty okay. I'm quite happy with that. Yeah, so I'll just paint up the framework so it's all done in Dural, and then start putting it together, I guess. So there it is. There's my little camera installation, f/24 camera. And now I'm going to lose sight of all that good work I've done by putting the other half of the cockpit on. But there we go. So I'll tape this up, let it glue overnight, and I'll come back to it in the morning. Now for this part, you're supposed to put this filler cap onto the back of the firewall first, and then put the whole lot in. I've just put that in first, and I'm going to put the firewall in separately. I think this cap will just sit a bit better if I put it in first. There we go. Now with the tail wheel unit, what they say is to put this on, the 2 halves on first, and then put the 2 halves of the fuselage together. I don't like that way of doing it, so I've put in the little tail wheel unit into the bottom of this part, then you can just clip the other half onto it and then slot the whole thing onto the bottom of the aircraft. Why have they done this? Well, this is presumably, this is for fixed undercarriage, fixed wheel undercarriage. This is presumably where they're going to do, I don't know, maybe a Mark 12 or something like that, which had retractable undercarriage. So this would be a different piece without having to redesign the entire fuselage mould. And when you're ready, the tailpiece can just slip into place. Like so. And just glue it up. Let it set up. A bit of tape in there. Right, now we're going to put on the I'm tempted to say horizontal stabilisers, but this is a Spitfire, so it's a tailplane. Put the tailplane together, each half comes in two halves. We just clamp those together and glue them up. Then, when they are glued up, when they fit inside the aircraft, see these tabs will line up and keep them in place. Just like that. See? So, we'll clamp them up, glue them up properly first, and then we'll assemble. Now the elevators have actual moving trim tabs, and the trim tabs are very, very, very carefully put in there, and then the other half of the elevator can go in. I'm guessing this is because there's more than one type of elevator that they've done this. Or more than one type of trim tab on this type of elevator or something. I don't know why they've done this. I mean, you could, I suppose in theory, you could have a little bit of trim added. I don't know why you'd do that. Anyway, there we go. Clamp these up, extra thin all round, job's done. The elevators slot in and actually connect up as well. I guess the theory is that they actually move up and down together. I'm not worrying about that, I'm just going to glue them in place. And likewise the rudder just slots into place. And then finally the rudder actuator needs to go in place as well. And with that, I'm pretty happy to say that the fuselage, for the moment at least, is complete. There's a few little bits of filling I need to do just up here. Just need to finish those out a bit straighter. And I need to fill in this bit here a little bit. It's a bit too prominent. The spine I'm happy with because there is a panel line there anyway. So I've just given it a light sand and I'll just go over to make sure that the rivet lines are okay. Other than that, I'm happy for the moment, and quick touch of filler, and that is that. But generally, I'm very, very pleased. The cockpit worked out okay. The camera installation, very happy with that. Yeah, I'm in a good place.
So there it is. The conversion is done. I'm very happy with it, very happy indeed. The only thing outstanding for the actual conversion is to do the hatch itself with a camera window. Everything else is pretty much standard. The only thing is it doesn't have a camera gun on the photo reconnaissance aircraft. So other than that, it's a standard Mark 9. So the wings are next. They'll be standard with the cannon and the machine guns. Then it'll be paint, then the engine, and finishing the whole thing up. So several more videos to come. If you've liked today's show, please do remember, imperial thumbs up on the like button below. If you haven't done so yet, please do remember to subscribe to the channel. Hit that bell and you'll be notified of these and other videos as they come. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time.